Hmm. Hmm. You know, this movie makes me want to think about one of my life's greatest mysteries. How in the hell I'm going to actually be able to trick Ryan Gosling into pissing in the fountain with me? Hey, it could happen. Hello. Freedom Guy 55 here again. I had just seen The Change Up, directed by David Dopkins, who directed, of course, The Wedding Crashers, and John Lucas, and written by John Lucas and Scott Moore, who wrote, of course, The Hangover, the first Hangover. And it also stars three people that are it's the three of the main stars in this movie star in summer blockbusters, or at least summer movies, this year as well. Each of them did. Ryan Reynolds is basically was the Green Lantern. Then, of course, Jason Bateman played in Horrible Bosses, and of course Olivia Wilde played in Cowboys and Aliens. So it's interesting that now all of them decided to get together, or at least, were cast together in this particular type of movie. Weird, isn't it? Well, anyway, this movie is basically pretty much a formula that's been repeated in many comedies. And the thing is that, and it's been repeated in other genres as well, like an action film, like in Face Off. And yet, the Face Off does it a lot better than the comedies have ever done it. And in the comedies, it's always been somewhat of a rambunctious teenager and a sanctimonious adult. And they've never really been able in comedies, at least from what I've seen, to be able to be convincing the audience, or at least to me, to believe that each other inhabited each other's bodies. I mean, each of these people inhabited each other's bodies. It just didn't make me believe it. I mean, not a lot of comedies made me do it. I mean, Face Off made me do it, helped me do it a lot more. And I think it's basically due to the fact that they concentrated more on the individualistic quirks of these individuals and people. And when they switched, they still maintained those individualistic quirks that made you feel that they were in each other's bodies. Now, this movie's The Change Up. It basically stars Jason Bateman as a lawyer who's trying to get partnership. And also it stars Ryan Reynolds as his friend, who's this kind of single man. Jason Bateman's married, and Ryan Reynolds is the single man. And he's basically a kind of, actor looking for work, so to speak. Anyway, Ryan Reynolds is always this ladies' man who always has women over, and then Jason Bateman's the really big workaholic type of guy who. And the thing is, one night they wind up getting together and drinking and pretty much envying each other's lives as they were pissing in the fountain. They wished for each other's lives, and switcheroo, they became each other when they woke up again. This movie handles it quite differently than any other particular kind of comedy, probably because it's rated R. So, be careful. And in a way, I have to say that I really, really enjoyed watching Ryan Reynolds and Jason Bateman play each other's characters, because they were actually really much more convincing in those roles. So much so, it was just fun to watch these two just, have so much charisma and really actually believing that these guys were friends. The dialogue, and the one thing I have to say though, is that the comedy is kind of half and half for me in this movie. I really enjoyed the dialogue comedy. The comedy with different people passing along dialogue and whatever. I thought that was hilarious. I thought most of that particular stuff was just outright funny. But then, of course, then there was physical humor that they tried in this movie that really, I thought, didn't even work very well. And even gross-out humor that I just thought was just overplayed and just gross sometimes. Either that, or it was just really kind of like, oh my god. I mean, what they did with a couple of babies in the movie were just like, wow, that's a little dangerous. I just couldn't really deal with that. But all in all, there were a lot more fun things, and they do actually learn a lot more in this movie. And I did really love Leslie Mann in this movie. She actually did give a kind of heartwarming performance in certain scenes, and I just was like, wow, she was good. You know, because I thought she was a little whiny in the beginning, but when it kind of came along, I was like going, wow, she did really good. And I really liked it. I thought Olivia Wilde was kind of cut a little bit. I thought that she could have been used a little bit more. But man, is she freaking beautiful. But, wow. Anyway, but all in all, Jason Bateman was fun to watch. Ryan Reynolds was fun to watch. So most of this time, the movie was really actually just more fun to watch than it was just basically watching the comedy in the movie. So I guess I have to say that I can't give it 3.5 stars. I have to give it like 3 stars, but almost 3.5. I did like it better than Horrible Bosses. So I do give a thumbs up to this movie. I do recommend it, but it may not be for everybody. So, but I'm telling you, I think some of this stuff is really, really fun to watch. So I do say, I do recommend it. I do give it thumbs up, but pretty much surrounding probably 3 stars out of 5. That's it. Well, and I think that's it. And I thank you for your time, and have a nice day.